What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of The Girl Who Talks Sports, the podcast where we talk sports and other girly things. I am Sam Cardona, and thank you guys so much for tuning in this week. We have a very different kind of week this week. It's a little bit special. So it is NFL Draft Week, and when this comes out, it will be Wednesday. It'll be the day before the draft. So usually what I do is I wait until after the first round of the draft, and I put out an episode on Friday. However, things are very different this year. I am going to be a part of like 4 different shows for the draft this year, so I am not doing an episode on this channel of the draft. Today, there are no segments, there are no storylines, there's no tea time, there's no nothing. We are just doing a mock draft today, and I know that you guys are probably all bent out of all mock drafts. I mean, we've been going over this for so long, but I've never created a full first round mock draft before, so I decided to do that today, and that's what we're gonna go over. Before we get into everything, guys, don't forget to subscribe on all podcasting platforms, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, wherever it is that you get your podcast from. Please make sure to subscribe and leave a review. Very, very helpful for me. And guys, don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel. I got so much love last week after reaching 100 subscribers. I want to thank you all so much for congratulating me. I know this is not like the biggest deal in the world, but it means a lot to me. So I want to thank everyone so much for reaching out. And I gained a bunch more subscribers because people were kind of like throwing my name out there a little bit more. So thank you for that. So please make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel. We have extra content coming next week. I'm so excited. And finally, guys, don't forget to follow us on social media at TGWTS Podcast on both Twitter and on Instagram. And we have officially gone into the world of TikTok, so you can find us on TikTok at The Girl Who Talks Sports. And I'm trying my best. I'm really trying to see if I can actually create TikToks. I don't know if I'm actually doing them right or not, but make sure to give that a look-see. Okay, now, so like I said, usually I don't do mock drafts. Usually I do a review of the drafts, and this is very different this year. Thursday night, 8 p.m., the draft starts. If you'd like some other commentary other than the guys on NFL Network or ESPN or wherever it is that you're watching the draft, please make sure to tune into the Brew Party. I am going to be on the Brew Party live draft show. That's with Andy Hopper. That's with our 2 friends from Big Blue Avenue, Tom Scavetta and Hank and Dichter, and a bunch of guests. It's going to be so much fun. So please make sure to tune into that. That is going to be the main event of draft night for me. And then I will be on Review and Preview on Friday night to go over the second and third rounds of the draft with Tom Scavetta and Kyle Rousseau. I believe Andy will also be joining me on there. As you can see, I have a friend group. And a bunch of other videos are going to be going on as well. I will kind of announce those to you guys when they get released and so on and so forth. Okay, now, without further ado, let's get into this mock draft. And I just want to say, I put this mock draft together today. And okay, I've never mock draft before. I've usually will do like the first 5, the first 10. Like I've never done a full 32 pick first round mock draft. It's hard. It is very, very hard. I salute everybody who like does it more than once. Like some people put out 2, 3, 4, 5 drafts or mock drafts before the draft comes out. I really I salute you. So I did this one. It will be my only one, and obviously it will be my only one because it will come out the day before the draft. I just want to warn you that by the end of this, some of these picks might be preposterous. They might be ridiculous, and it's because I was getting tired. So, but I will share my thought process with you on everything. And yeah, so after I've been blabbing on for almost 5 minutes, let's get into this mock draft. So, in my opinion, the draft itself is going to start after the second pick. So, first pick, obviously Jacksonville Jaguars. I have them taking Trevor Lawrence, quarterback from Clemson. I think that this is just kind of everybody's thoughts. I like Trevor Lawrence. I think that he is a fantastic quarterback. He showed that he could win a championship when he was a freshman. Like, fantastic. Obviously, the first pick. Second pick of the draft, we have New York Jets. The New York Jets, I believe, will be drafting Zach Wilson out of BYU, also another quarterback. This is another obvious choice just in my eyes. Losing Sam Darnold, you obviously need a quarterback here. Zach Wilson proved to be a fantastic quarterback, so that's who's probably going to go there. With a new coach, I know that the Jets have gone through this narrative before in terms of drafting a quarterback and having a new coach and like all that stuff, and like it never seems to work. But we'll see. We will see. It'll be interesting. Also, I just want to say I really want Sam Darnold to shine in Carolina. I think that he's going to do really well. So those are the first two picks. Now, in my eyes, the draft starts here. The draft starts at pick 3 with the San Francisco 49ers, who have moved their way up from, I believe it was 12. They were at 12, and now they are picking at 3. A lot of quarterback controversy here in San Fran, which is, it's really just quite strange, the amount of people that I've seen drafting, like, other people other than who I'm thinking of, which is Mac Jones. I have the 49ers picking Mac Jones at 3, quarterback out of Alabama. Mac Jones, he's proved his worth. He won the national championship this past year. Obviously, Alabama is a powerhouse. I feel like I'm going to be saying Alabama is a powerhouse a lot of times during this video, so if you want to play a fun drinking game, take a shot every time I say Alabama is a powerhouse. You're up to about 3 now, so catch up. Mac Jones is mostly going to be my pick here because of the fact that Coach Kyle Shanahan has said that he wants Mac Jones. That's what seems to be the plausible and reasonable choice here. Some people are talking about Trey Lance. I don't see Trey Lance getting picked up as early as everyone thinks he is. While he's a great quarterback, he's a bit inexperienced. I believe he only has like a year of football under his belt. So I have Mac Jones here. To me, I just want to say Mac Jones gives me Josh Allen vibes. A lot of things that people are talking about Mac Jones are like, oh, he's not going to be good. He's not going to work. It's not blah, blah, blah. And people are also, kind of putting him with New England. But it doesn't make sense to me that Mac Jones drops at all. So he gives me Josh Allen vibes because I have a feeling that, like, once he gets into this league and once he kind of figures out what role he plays here, and especially on a team, he's going to, like, pop off and be, like, really, really great. So that's the vibes Mac Jones gives me. I just got word, like, only a couple minutes ago from my friend Tom Scavetta of Big Blue Avenue. He sent us a text in our sports group chat saying that Mac Jones got a DUI in 2017, which is interesting, which is very interesting. And these things seem to pop up as draft time comes around. I mean, we can jump back to the Laramie Tunsil thing. That was a whole thing in and of itself with the whole gas mask thing. Anyway, just very interesting in terms of character and things. So, Mac Jones, number 3 with the 49ers. At number 4, we have the Atlanta Falcons. The Atlanta Falcons could draft a quarterback here. I just don't think that they're going to. I do believe that the Falcons will be drafting tight end Kyle Pitts out of Florida. Again, like I said, they could end up trading down. They could take a quarterback. But this right here, Kyle Pitts, he is the best player in this draft. He is 100% the best player in this draft. And whoever gets Kyle Pitts wins the draft, basically. Everybody wants Kyle Pitts. I wanted Kyle Pitts before the Giants brought in Kyle Rudolph for the tight end spot and hopefully dropping Evan Ingram at some point in time. But there's also these talks about Julio Jones now, like maybe he's leaving and this and that. There's got to be someone down the field for Matty Ice to throw to. And if it's not going to be Matty Ice, then somebody. But Kyle Pitts here cannot drop any lower than this. He is too much of a talent, and it would be so stupid of the Falcons to pass him up. So I have the Falcons taking Kyle Pitts. Number 5, we have the Cincinnati Bengals, and I was jumping back and forth between 2 players here, and I'm sure many of you know exactly which 2 players I was thinking of, and that's Penei Sewell and Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase is the case here because he was coming out of LSU. Joe Burrow went to LSU. They were teammates. They know one another. To have Joe Burrow be able to throw to someone that he is more familiar with is a good plus. However, Joe Burrow is coming off of an ACL injury after his first season. When I say this, please take it in every way, which way that you want to. We must protect Joe Burrow at all costs, okay? We must protect Joe Burrow at all costs. While it would be great to have a friend, that would be fantastic for him. Like, great. But there's a difference between a want and a need. And I do believe that Jamar Chase for the Bengals is a want and Sewell is a need. So Sewell, offensive tackle out of Oregon, is the pick for them because they need to protect Joe Burrow. And that's where I'm gonna lay it here. However, we're gonna continue on with the Jamar Chase talk because coming up with number 6 is the Miami Dolphins, who have also made their way somehow back up into the top 10. Greer is a mastermind. He really is just so smart. The Dolphins are doing so good in terms of placing themselves in this draft. So number 6, the Dolphins, I have them drafting Jamar Chase at wide receiver. Obviously out of LSU. So Jamar Chase is not going to get drafted by the Bengals, and because of that, he is probably the best receiver in this draft. And he can't drop that low. And the Dolphins need a receiver. They could totally do that. And they could, kind of go over some other things that they need in terms of like a running back or something. But running back in this draft is very vast, and it's very possible that you can draft like a top 3 running back in like the second round. So I wouldn't worry about that in number 6. And I think that receivers are a little bit more sparse. So drafting Jamar Chase with the Dolphins is probably the best bet here. All right, number 7. This is the one and only trade that I have in my mock draft, mostly because I didn't want to get confused and like forget where I had put people and put places, but also it's the only one that makes the most sense to me. So there have been a lot of talks about the Patriots trading up, and there was I saw a notification today about them talking to the Panthers, who are the pick after this. However, I think that this one makes a little bit more sense. The Pats trading with the Detroit Lions to 7, so the Lions will drop to 15, and the Pats trade up for Justin Fields. Now, at this point, people were talking about Justin Fields, and Justin Fields was at like number 2 until Zach Wilson came around, right? And while he's a great quarterback, I think that I saw him struggle a lot, especially in the championship game against Alabama. So that's kind of how Fields has dropped just a little bit. But the Patriots are going to make their way up because the Lions don't need a quarterback. The Panthers don't need a quarterback. The next one here would be the Broncos at 9. So I think that Patriots, they're smart. That, Bill Belichick is out here with his dog Nike, who apparently is the best drafter in the world. And I think that they're going to come up here and draft Justin Fields, who I had the Lions, if this trade didn't happen, I had the Lions drafting Micah Parsons here. And I do believe that by the time 15 comes around, Micah Parsons will still be on the board. And I will get to that in just a second. So Justin Fields, quarterback out of Ohio State, will be going to the New England Patriots at number 7 in a trade with the Lions. At number 8, we have the Panthers. And again, the Panthers don't need a quarterback because we just talked about Sammy Darnold right before this. So I have them taking an offensive lineman in Rashawn Slater from Northwestern. We need a solid O-line for Sammy. And one of the things that I think Sam Darnold, which struggled in New York, is that he didn't have the time to throw the ball. He didn't have the time to be Sam Darnold. He didn't, his offensive line didn't grant him that. So I think that having Slater there, and they have also said, scouts have said Slater is someone who can kind of move to any position on the line. So having someone who's kind of a Swiss Army knife here, can put him anywhere, I think it will be good for the Panthers, and the Panthers will have someone to protect Sam Darnold in Carolina and prove that he is indeed a first round quarterback. It wasn't working out in New York. So that's number 8. Number 9, Broncos. Like I said, this would be the next team that could draft a quarterback, and I do have them drafting a quarterback here, and that's Trey Lance. Trey Lance, like I mentioned before, he's great but inexperienced. So it's good that he is going to, I definitely feel him in the first round, just not in that. I just don't see the 49ers taking Trey Lance there. It just doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. So Trey Lance out of North Dakota State, small school, I believe. I could be totally wrong. I think Carson Wentz went to North Dakota State. I could be totally, absolutely wrong. But, this is the only quarterback I think that would be the best one on the board. If the Patriots don't draft up for Fields would probably drop here. But I do think that Fields is not going to come down all the way to the 9th pick. So I have the Broncos taking Trey Lance. Because Drew Lock in Denver, I just don't know where he stands. I don't know what his future is there. So I'm not really feeling the quarterback situation in Denver right now. So that's who I have there. Number 10, we have the Dallas Cowboys. The Dallas Cowboys, I swear to God, if they draft someone for their offense, I will just start laughing. They absolutely 100% at the number 10 spot do not, and I repeat, do not need to draft anyone for their offense here. Stick to defense. The defense is, as I've read somewhere, is dog food. So come on, Jerry, you're a smart man. I know why you have all of that money. It makes a lot of sense to me. So the Dallas Cowboys, I have them drafting cornerback Patrick Surtain out of Alabama because Alabama is a powerhouse. There you go. Take another shot. Like I said, they need someone to fill in this corner slot. They need to improve on their defense. Patrick Surtain is the best cornerback in this draft, I believe. So I just think that that's going to be the best thing for them. However, as a Giants fan in the NFC East, if you do draft someone for offense, I mean, I'm just going to laugh because this is going to be hilarious for you. There's nothing else that I can do for you here, Jerry, if you draft someone for your offense. However, at number 11, we have our New York Giants, who I have drafting for their offense. And a lot of people were kind of like, oh, maybe we need an offensive line here. Like, we just got Galladay, this and that, blah, blah. I do have them drafting Jalen Waddle. Jalen Waddle out of Alabama, wide receiver. The fact that this guy him and Devontae Smith were on the same team with Alabama just blows my mind. It really does. More receivers, more people for Daniel Jones to throw to. I'm totally okay with that. I'm happy with Galladay. I'm happy with the tight end situation right now in terms of that Evan Ingram might be getting pushed off the ledge. That's good with me. I'm okay with that. But we need a young guy. Throw a young guy in there. I can't even think of the last time that I'm like, wow, we're going to get a receiver. We're going to get a Bama receiver. I don't even remember the last time I thought about that. So that's where I have the Giants. However, if they do draft someone for their offensive line, I wouldn't be like majorly upset. I really wouldn't. I'd be like, okay, like I get it. I understand. The offensive line needs a lot of work. But I just think that there's talent in the second round and later on in the first round that I'm sorry, we don't even have another pick in the first round. Someone later on in the second round that we could actually get that's still a talented player, just not from the 11th pick. So, and also do not draft a cornerback at 11. We don't need it. It's okay. I know people will make that argument. We absolutely don't need a cornerback at 11. Alrighty, moving right along to the 12th pick with the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, I would like to say that I would find it hilarious if the Eagles drafted a quarterback here. But I really, at this point, I feel like they are smart enough to maybe consider what they're doing here. They don't have that 6th pick anymore where they could have gotten, a really great quarterback. So I have them taking a receiver here. I have them taking Devontae Smith. I feel like come on, Howie, Lori, don't make me regret actually thinking that you have a brain cell that you share. So I have them taking Devontae Smith once again out of the powerhouse that is Alabama. They could get a cornerback here. I was looking up to see what kind of needs they need. They could have a spot opposite of Darius Slay in terms of a quarterback, but receivers for Hurts are important. Obviously, despite whatever Nick Sirianni wants to say about rock, paper, scissors or whatever, and he's not the starting quarterback, it would really blow my mind if Jalen Hurts did not start next year. So they need receivers. He needs receivers. He needs someone that he can make a play to. And Devontae Smith is fantastic. And what really grinds my gears is the fact that people are like, oh, he's too skinny. Oh, he's too small. It's too small. Blah, blah, blah. Shut up, please. I think I saw, just today, I believe Devontae Smith himself said, we're not bodybuilders. We're football players. And that is 100% true. Quit talking about this guy's weight. It really just grinds my gears. It just really makes me mad. So, Devontae Smith is an excellent wide receiver, and I have the Eagles taking him at 12. At 13, which is the LA Chargers, I believe that we need to work on an offensive line here for our boy Justin. Justin Herbert needs a little bit of help here. Darisaw has come up here quite some times. However, I do have Tevin Jenkins, offensive line out of Oklahoma, but either or could work. But I have Jenkins here, coming down to the pick here. One page done. We are moving right along here. All right, number 14. 14 are the Minnesota Vikings, and I feel like the Minnesota Vikings are an interesting team. I feel like they could use a good amount of stuff, especially now that they've lost Kyle Rudolph to the New York Giants. However, I have them taking offensive line as well. Elijah Vera-Tucker out of USC is one of the best offensive linemen to come out of this draft. So, they need people to block. They need people to block here. Inside, specifically interior block help would be very beneficial for the Vikings. I've seen also people say Kwity Paye could go here, but Kwity Paye does not specialize in inside blocking, so I have Elijah Vera-Tucker here for that specific reason. Now at 15, this is where the Patriots would have been, and I just, maybe if they're at 15, then if Trey Lance is available, they would get Trey Lance, but I really think that they're going to go up to get a quarterback. So the Lions here, I have the Lions down here with Micah Parsons, and I mentioned that before. I believe Micah Parsons is going to stay on the list here. A lot of people are going to say that he's a top 10 linebacker here at Penn State. However, there's some drama going on with him. There was someone in college had accused him and a couple other people of hazing and harassment. And I know that when I was on Clapback Sports podcast a few weeks ago, they asked me, would I take them? And I said no, because I don't want to deal with that drama. I really, really don't want to deal with that drama as a Giants fan. Don't need it. And like I said, we could take somebody at 11 in terms of defense or offensive line, but I'm good with a receiver. So Micah Parsons could drop for that reason. He could drop for other reasons. Who's to say? But the Lions need help. The Lions need defensive help for sure, because it's literally their defensive line versus the NFC North. They definitely need to work on that with the offenses that are coming out in the NFC North, especially with the Packers. So, like I said, with the whole hazing thing, I don't know what kind of person he is now. I don't know if it was something that he, didn't know he was doing or so on and so forth. I haven't really looked into the details of it, but those are my thoughts on Micah Parsons. Excellent linebacker, no doubt about it. But in terms of character and in terms of drama, no, I'm good. I'm good. Thank you. Number 16, the Arizona Cardinals. I saw a mock draft saying, and when I tell you I've looked at 15 mock drafts today, that's even too little. I feel like maybe 20 or 25. The Cardinals I saw a mock draft where the Cardinals were drafting a running back here, which would make no sense because they literally just picked up James Conner. It just doesn't make any sense. So I have them taking a corner here, J.C. Horn out of South Carolina. They've said that he is comparable to Marshawn Lattimore and Aqib Talib, which is some solid people to be compared to, if you ask me. And the Cardinals definitely need, one of the things that they absolutely need to work on is they need to replace Patrick Peterson. So J.C. Horn is a shutdown corner, and I think that that is a perfect fit there in Arizona. Next, we have the Raiders at number 17. I struggled a lot with this one. This one is where I kind of hit the wall. I was like, oh my God, I'm not even close to being done yet with this mock draft. I'm only at 17. I was high-key struggling. So what I ended up picking here for the Raiders was Trayvon Mowing. He's a safety out of TCU. Someone that I really wasn't paying a lot of attention to, but after looking into what kind of player he is, seems to work pretty well, especially with the Raiders defense, which needs help. Raiders defense needs help. I don't care what anybody says. To pair him off with Jonathan Abram would make the defense stronger. So I have the safety there with the Raiders at 17. Now we're back to the Dolphins at 18. And again, struggled a lot with this. Thought maybe they would try to take Najee Harris here. I have thought hard and long about this, and I just don't know if they're going to do that. I just don't know if the Dolphins are going to draft a running back here, because it is, again, this running back core in this draft is very, I don't know. I don't want to say they're bad, because they're not at all. It's just very scarce, and I don't really know how to describe it, but I don't have them taking Najee Harris here. I have them taking Azeez Ujulari, who's an edge out of Georgia. Running backs are going to be around. It's very possible that, one or two running backs that are very, very, very high, praise might be around in day two. So it's very possible that those guys drop, not because they're not good, but because no team really needs them other than the Steelers, which we will get to. I have some stats here for Ujulari: 9.5 sacks, 12.5 tackles, 4 forced fumbles. Solid. Real solid. And the Dolphins are, they already have a really fantastic defense, but you can always add on and make them the best defense in the league. So I have them taking an edge. Okay. At 19, Washington. This, again, struggled a little bit with what they could use, what they could need in Washington. Obviously, their quarterback situation has been resolved with Ryan Fitzpatrick. They don't need a quarterback right now. I just don't think that that's going to work. Even with Smith leaving, retiring, they don't need it. So Washington, I have them taking a linebacker with Zaven Collins out of Tulsa. It's a weak spot in their defense. I know that they got Chase Young last year, who has been phenomenal, fantastic, won Defensive Rookie of the Year, not without question. But Zaven Collins is a really special player. The more I looked into him, the more I really liked him. He's 6'5", 259 pounds. He started in high school as a quarterback, went to college, they put him at tight end, he got into an injury, and then he became a linebacker. So not only is Zaven Collins a huge human being who's now played a linebacker in college, but he knows how offenses work. He was a quarterback. He was a tight end, maybe not at this high level, but having the experience on both sides of both sides of the ball, I think could be really beneficial. So that's who I have Washington taking at 19. At 20, we have the Bears, and the Bears, I feel like I'm going to say this for every single pick. I struggled. I struggled finding a person that the Bears should pick. And to be quite honest, the more I thought about it, the more this made sense to me for them to take a receiver. I have them taking Rashad Bateman out of Minnesota. Thinking about it, Allen Robinson signed his franchise tag, but he was not happy about it. He was so just not what he wanted to do, but it's only for a year, and he might not be around after that, and they need to start working with a new person. Rashad Bateman could be that guy for them, and with Andy Dalton, a new quarterback in Chicago here, maybe this is a nice new toy for him. A shiny new red fire truck to open up on Christmas morning. Rashad Bateman's there. Could work. It could work. I'm feeling the Bears taking a receiver. It makes sense to me. So anyway, that's who I have the Bears have at 20. Now 21, we have the Colts. I think that there's only one position the Colts need in this first round here. That's an edge. They really don't have any choice other than to take an edge. I have them taking Jalen Phillips out of Miami. At this point, Kwity Paye and Ojulari are off the board. And did I have Kwity Paye off the board? I'm trying to figure it out now. I don't remember. Anyway, this is like the next best thing here for an edge is Jalen Phillips. Greg Rousseau is in the mix as well. However, apparently I think very highly of him and nobody else does. So Jalen Phillips here, edge Miami. Again, Colts don't really have a choice. They need to take an edge. It's like the worst thing that they could do. I'm sorry, not the worst thing. The best thing that they could do. My brain is mush. At 22, we have the Titans. Another team, I believe should take a receiver. AJ Brown is going to be a free agent next year. I have them taking Elijah Moore out of Ole Miss. You know, they've kind of dealt with their defense. They've dealt with their defense enough. So, you know, in free agency, I mean, I think they've picked up Bud Dupree, Janoris Jenkins. Wide receiver here would be good. A small guy, 5'9", 185 pounds. Get a little guy for Ryan Tannehill, you know? Someone with speed, someone who could get down the field and Ryan Tannehill can throw to. That's fantastic. And A.J. Brown, great wide receiver. Fantastic. But I'm just thinking of the fact that he will be a free agent by next year. Probably one of the best free agents on the market next year. And that's probably... there's going to be talks about him leaving the Titans, I believe. So, Elijah Moore, wide receiver out of Ole Miss for the Titans. Okay, so I just want to backtrack just a tad back to that Colts pick because I really thought I had put Kwity Paye on this mock draft, and I didn't, and Kwity Paye is, like, the best edge in this draft. So, I'm going to put him... where I had Jalen Phillips. I don't really have the time to go through this whole thing and find out where he should go. Maybe to Minnesota? Maybe I would put him back at Minnesota instead of Elijah Vera Tucker, but then I'd have to move him around. Anyway, we're just going to throw Kwity Paye in the mix here because I am just so stupid and I totally just forgot to put him in here because... my brain is mush. So that's where we're putting him with the Colts. However, I really don't think he's going to go there. I just want to make sure he's in my mock. So that was 21. We hit 22 with the Titans. And now we're circling back to a team once again at 23 with the New York Jets. The New York Jets couldn't really mess things up. You know, they are the Jets and they're good at that. But I do have them drafting cornerback Greg Newsome II out of Northwestern. You know, they need an upgrade at corner. It's the one thing that they didn't address in their free agency. So, Greg Newsome II could be good in New York. They solidified their defensive line already with picking up Carl Lawson and Sheldon Rankins. So, having Newsome in there, cornerback, could be beneficial for the Jets, especially because they've focused on one side of the ball in their second pick. And maybe they can move to the other side in their next pick at 23. At 24, the Pittsburgh Steelers. This is where I have Najee Harris. I have Najee Harris getting picked up by the Steelers, running back out of Alabama. With the loss of Connor, they have some depth with the run game, but they need a star. They need a fantastic guy to fill in this hole. Benny Snell Jr. is like the best guy on the running back depth chart right now. I really think that Najee Harris could blow this up. The Steelers' run game struggled so much last year, so they definitely need to focus on that. Their offensive line, again, is needed, but it can be focused on later. They need Najee Harris, and I know that my brother has been talking about Najee Harris since, like, November. So... the Steelers, if you're listening, it would be great and probably make my brother really happy if you drafted Najee. That would be great. Thank you so much. Okay, 25. Jacksonville Jaguars, another circle around here. With them getting Trevor Lawrence, again, same kind of thing with the New York Jets. We focused on one side of the ball. With two picks in one round, it's really, especially the first round, it's good to kind of get both sides here. Now let's focus on the other side of the ball. So I have them drafting Christian Barmore, defensive tackle out of Alabama. Holy cow, there's so many of them. The defense needs to be addressed, specifically the middle of it, like the middle of the line. Again, that interior thing like I was talking about earlier with who was that? I'm so all over the place. Anyway, they need to fix that, and with Trevor Lawrence on one side of the ball, they don't really need to focus on the offense again unless there's absolutely 100% need, but let's focus on the defense. Let's jump over and get Christian Barmore out of Alabama. Okay, we are moving right along here, people. 26, we have the Browns. I can't even remember the last time the Browns were this low just because they were, in the playoffs and like a good team. Also, shout out to Baker Mayfield. I believe he signed his 5th-year option as the first, Browns quarterback to do that in a really long time. So, the Browns, I think their offense is fantastic. And I'm not just saying that because I love Baker Mayfield. I think that even without OBJ, who I think may or may not be holding that offense back, but that's just me. The Browns can focus on a corner. Asante Samuel Jr., cornerback out of Florida State. With Barmore off, I think that they would pick up Barmore if he was still on the board, but I have him picking the Jags picking him at 25, so it's not necessary to focus on the offense right now. So they lack depth at corner, so put him there, and he is on the smaller side. He is 5'10", 184 pounds, but to be honest, I really love when these quarterbacks are small because people underestimate them, and then they're speedy quick, and they will get you down no matter how much you weigh. They will get you down if need be. So I really like Samuel Jr. I think that he could be really good, and like I said, the Browns need the depth there, so that's who I have for the Browns. At 27, we have the Ravens. I have them picking up a wide receiver. I think that it's probably the biggest need for them. Terrence Marshall Jr. out of LSU. You could make the argument that they already have receivers in Hollywood Brown and Miles Boykin, but they are kind of like outside receivers. The more I've looked at them, the more I've seen them play, they need a traditional wide receiver who plays more on the inner parts of the field. And I believe Terrence Marshall Jr. could do this. Lamar Jackson, we know he can take off. We know that he's speedy. We know that he can do things. But he's definitely got to practice on throwing to his receivers anyway a little bit more. I think that's part of the reason why he struggles so much in the playoffs. So a true wide receiver on the inside, Terrence Marshall Jr. for the Ravens here, could be a good pick. At 28, we have the Saints, and I'm getting another corner here. The corners in this draft, my God, are so deep, and they're all so good. The Saints, I have Caleb Farley, and Caleb Farley from Virginia Tech. If he falls this low, that's going to be a huge steal for the Saints. Really, really big steal for them. The reason why I feel like he might drop a little is because he had back surgery and he opted out of the season last year due to COVID. So I do think that, maybe with the injury and opting out, not playing, I think that could affect his standing here. But the Saints picking up this corner this low in the draft, I think would be a really big steal for them and really great for their defense, or their secondary rather. 29, we have the Packers. So the thing is here, again, I didn't do any more trades except for the Lions-Patriots one, but I got news from my brother about the Steelers that the Packers might move up to the Steelers spot and the Steelers might drop down here. Again, I feel like the Steelers could still draft a running back down here, but regardless, I have the Packers at 29. I have them drafting a center, Creed Humphreys out of Oklahoma. Let me tell you why. David Bakhtiari, while he is one of my favorite people in the world, I really like him as a person. He looks like he could be a lot of fun at parties. He had this major injury last year, and while he's getting paid big bucks, like one of the most amounts in the league, Eventually, he is getting older, and with this injury, it's kind of aged him a little bit. They're going to need someone to take over for David Bakhtiari when he can no longer play. So I think drafting Creed Humphreys here is a solid choice to kind of have someone there to back up Bakhtiari, and God forbid he gets hurt again this next year. I think it's solid for them, and I know Aaron Rodgers loves David. I think he calls him Dave or Davey, which is so cute. So I definitely think that the Packers don't need a center. But with the track record now of Bakhtiari, it's solid to have someone there, just chilling there. And they obviously don't need help on their defense. I mean, on their offense. They do need help on their defense, so they could draft someone here for their defense. But this is just, again, like I said, the last like 10 picks of this mock draft are just like bananas because I was getting so tired. So, but everybody needs a kind of funkiness to their mock draft. Otherwise, just be like everybody else's. All right, number 30. We're almost finished. We have the Bills. Jamin Davis, linebacker out of Kentucky. The defensive line is the biggest need here for Buffalo. Obviously, we've seen their offense do fantastic. Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs is one of the best quarterback wide receiver duos in the league. They just picked up Emmanuel Sanders in free agency. They still have Cole Beasley. I think that their wide receivers are locked in. They're fantastic. So Jamin Davis, linebacker out of Kentucky, I think that this could work for them. He's a linebacker, so he is a large person. He ran a 4.47 40. Is that not just the most crazy thing you've ever heard? Like, I'm seeing these men who are very large and heavy, but not in like a bad way. Like, they're just big and tall and large, so they weigh a lot. And they run so fast, it's frightening. Frightening. So to have somebody like this on the Bills could make them even better than they were last year. Only 2 more picks here, people. 31. We have another repeat of the Ravens. And the Ravens here, I have them taking an outside tackle, Jalen Mayfield out of Michigan. They lost Matt Judon. They lost Yannick Ngakoue. I hope I'm saying that right. They missed. They lost Ward on free agency. They need to fill that gap. They really need to. So I have Jalen Mayfield for the Ravens here. I think that could work for them. Yeah. So again, it's coming down to the wire at this point, and I'm really losing my mind. I'm so busy. I'm so stressed. Everyone, please drink your water and get sleep because I did not get any sleep last night, or should I say, like, I did go to sleep, but it was really late, and then I woke up really early, so I didn't get that much. Get some sleep and drink water during draft week. It's really important for your health. Finally, we have the 32nd pick. 32nd pick in the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, our Super Bowl champions. I saw a mock draft. Again, I'm going to make fun of mock drafts that I think are ridiculous. Not to say mine's not. I would constitute this mock draft as absolutely ridiculous. But I saw someone drafting a quarterback at 32 for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Turn it down. Shut it off. No need. Absolutely no need. They will draft one in the 6th or 7th round. That will be the next Tom Brady. Okay? There you go. I have them drafting the edge, Greg Rousseau. And some people could argue with me. I just think very highly of Greg Rousseau for some reason. Out of Miami. The thing is that I have him going here to the Bucs because I've seen people compare him to Jason Pierre-Paul, who might be finishing off his career soon. This might be the last year for him. And we've seen him do amazing things in Tampa Bay. So to have someone who's very similar to him underneath JPP to learn from him to then take his place next year, great. That really works for Tampa Bay. And but like I said, I mean, they brought everybody back. They really don't need anything new. Tampa Bay is just a crazy mess. It's just bonkers. I hate them. But anyway, guys, that is the full first round mock draft of the Girl Who Talks Sports for the draft on Thursday at 8 p.m. Guys, thank you so much for listening to me rant about the draft. This is fun. And it's weird to do another episode without a guest. Talking a lot really hurts my throat. I forgot how much it sucks to just sit here and talk to a camera and not have anybody to banter off of. So that's my mock draft. Guys, don't forget to tune into the Brew Party Draft Show. Again, follow me on social media at TGWTS Podcast, both Twitter and Instagram. I will put all of the stuff that I will be doing for the draft up there, videos that I will be recording, shows that I will be on, live shows. It's going to be a lot of fun. So, again, follow me there to keep up to date with everything that's going on this week. And make sure that you turn into that draft show because it's going to be so much fun. I'm so excited. We've had so many meetings and Zooms about it and trying to make it absolute perfection. So I'm really excited for you guys to tune in and listen to me and Andy and Tom and Hank just absolutely demolish this upcoming draft, which is second Christmas for me. I love the NFL draft. It's one of my favorite days of the NFL offseason. So, to finish off the plugs, guys, again, don't forget to subscribe on all podcasting platforms and please leave a review on my podcast. It's so helpful. And subscribe to the YouTube channel, The Girl Who Talks Sports. Please subscribe, like this video, comment on this video, turn on notifications to make sure that you get an update every time we upload a new video. Like I said, a new extra content video will be coming out. I'm filming it on Saturday. So next week, please keep a lookout for that. And I'm so excited to give it to you. It's going to be so much fun to film, and it's going to be so much fun to show you guys. So, guys, happy draft week. Please enjoy this NFL draft. It's going to be in person. It's not at all going to be like how it was last year with those, being on a Zoom call and being remote and all that stuff. This is finally going to start getting back to this new normal that we will be experiencing post-COVID when COVID actually eventually does go away. So, everyone, I hope that you all have a fun and fantastic sports-filled day, a fun, fantastic sports-filled NFL draft week, and I will see you guys all next week post-NFL draft. So we will know exactly if this mock draft was even remotely correct by the next episode. All right, everybody. See you next week. Bye.